All right, welcome to our mindfulness meditation for this month. We have a hearty group of folks here from all over the world ready to meditate and here because they somehow heard that mindfulness is good for them. Or maybe they already are practitioners of meditation and have experienced some of the benefits of that. So I like to explain a little bit about what mindfulness meditation is and also why you might want to do it. And this is going to be a very user-friendly session where we'll be given periods of time to experience guided meditation, pauses where we can jot things down or interact with each other off the recording. And then we'll be given a period of time to have a self-led meditation after you've been given all the tools. So let's get started just by maybe bringing a little bit of awareness into our space right now. So maybe you could take a moment just to kind of look around your space. This is just a little technique to kind of begin. And I'm going to offer you the option to not look directly at the monitor, but to maybe soften your gaze and just be open to kind of letting my words wash over you today. Right? A lot of us, maybe we come with a notepad and we want to really learn it. We want to get it right. But I want to give you the option to just let things wash over you today. And whatever is meant to stick, it'll be a seed will be planted that you can come back to. So our mindfulness practice is a very old one that has its roots in Buddhism and has been taken into our modern day world through leaders like Jon Kabat-Zinn and adapted for our populations who want to manage stress. So you'll often see mindfulness-based stress reduction trainings, and that is the low-hanging fruit of why we want to practice mindfulness. But before we learn that, I'd like to tell you what it is. Many of you already know. So mindfulness, the definition, the loose definition that I work with is present moment, non-judgmental awareness. And that means that I'm just practicing, underlining the word practicing, being present and being in the now. This is truly the only moment that we can experience, this present moment. And we have to, as human beings who have become human doings, we have to stop ourselves sometimes because we can get really caught up in ruminating about the future, ruminating about the past, and get into our present moment, again, without judgment. And that part's very hard as well. So for the next little while, I want to offer you a break away from all of the doing and all of the thinking and the worrying and the concerns. So we're just going to take a break, and I'll share with you sort of the entry point exercise. That's a very short exercise. And it involves 3 words, remembering these 3 words: stop, breathe, and be. So we're going to practice this now. We're going to start by stopping everything else we're doing and maybe find a way to sit or recline even that feels good and comfortable for you, knowing that you can always move if you need to. But I am going to stop right now. and just sit for a moment or lie for a moment. And I might, in my mind's eye, or just for a moment, see the parts of my life where I can allow myself to stop. Maybe there are transition times that you can allow yourself to stop. Natural places in your day where you are already stopping. Like you just got into bed at night, or you're just getting up in the morning. So the first step is to stop. And the second step is to breathe. So we're going to notice what it feels like to breathe. Just focusing on the sensations of the breath in the body, and just letting go of all of the moments that led to this one. Just coming into this breath. Maybe allowing the body to soften a little bit. The eyes could be open, the eyes could be closed. And we're just pausing here for a moment just to feel what it's like to now be here. We're not going to change anything, we're just going to rest with things as they are, as they really are. And then I might just sort of come back to my room around me and to my community here with my fellow friends caring for Waldenstroms. And I might open my eyes and I might take a moment just to jot those words down. Stop, breathe, be. All right, so we've talked a little bit about when there are some times in our day where we might practice that stop, breathe, and be, and we had a lot of great ideas before we get out of bed, first thing in the morning, transitions, when we're wondering what to do next, when you get in the car, before you take off, and when you take a break in the afternoon. So those are some ideas that our friends here in the live class had. So now let's move into our second exercise. And this one is pretty easy too. I really like to make this accessible for folks who are just starting a meditation practice. And even if you have an advanced, quote unquote, meditation practice, these simple techniques can really be useful refreshers. So this next exercise is called the 5 breaths exercise. And that it is exactly what it sounds like. All you're going to do is take 5 breaths in a row. Before we go into that, I want to give you a little guided breath awareness, mindfulness meditation. So let's begin again by finding a nice posture that will allow you to stay present. And you do not have to stay in this exact posture the whole time. But I might notice for a moment the contact that my body is making with support. And maybe you would like to close your eyes. I'm sitting with my body upright and centered. And I'm just going to pause again for a moment to be in this moment. And set a little boundary around this time for myself. That I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing something that can help me improve my quality of life. Reduce suffering, basically. So I'll begin to turn my awareness to just the sensations I'm feeling, what it feels like for me in this moment to breathe. I'm just noticing how it feels to meet my breath exactly as it is. Just my awareness of my breath, I automatically begin to sort of change my breath and how I'm breathing. And that's okay, but I just want to stay present with my breath and noticing what it feels like to breathe and just beginning to adopt this observer sort of placement. Through the lens of my observer eyes, I'm watching my breath. I'm watching the breath come and go. I'm letting go of all of the doing, all of the thinking. And I'm coming into experiencing my breath, whatever I can feel about my breath. And then I might begin to count my 5 breaths in a row. Just letting the breath come and go. And when I have completed my 5 breaths, I'll just come back to continuing to be in this moment. And seeing if I can keep that role of observer as I come back into the room around me. And maybe even open my eyes after having completed a little bit of awareness of the breath and my 5 breaths. Coming back into the room around me, coming back into my community. And taking another very short pause to jot down or gather any thoughts that you want, any messages for yourself about what your breathing was like today, or what was challenging, or what felt good. And I'll go ahead and pause our recording. All right, so those of us here live had a lot of interesting things to observe about the 5 breaths. Some of us got deeper, some of us were distracted with the counting. Some of us really enjoyed that as a way to calm down the monkey mind. Hard to gauge what's normal, right? So let's go ahead and now we'll go into a period of more sparsely guided mindfulness meditation. And we'll begin like we always do, just by noticing your posture, noticing the placement of your body on the earth. And if it's useful for you, you could soften the gaze or close the eyes if you're not already doing that. And we'll just be pausing here for the next 5 minutes together, just to feel what it is like to be here, to observe ourselves in this moment exactly as we are, without judgment. If it's helpful for you, you could spend some time observing the breath. And that could be a focus for your mindfulness. Completely entering each breath. And letting that breath just be a resting place where we can let go of all of the activity. We can just put it aside. And when your mind wanders away from the breath, you can guide it back like you would positively reinforce a puppy. Come on back here. Just taking that fresh start, feeling all of the breath, flowing with that. And then every time you find yourself distracted away from the breath and you bring yourself back to it, that is the practice. That moment is the practice. And when you're ready, you can begin to come back to the surface of the body, the awareness of the room around you. Opening your eyes when you're ready. And remembering you can always take a moment to stop, breathe, and be. You can always take 5 breaths. Just drop down out of all of the activity, everything that's uncertain, and just be in your breath. And finding that comfort and that peace and the simplicity of breathing. And just the experience of each moment as it happens. And I hope you can take a little bit of your present moment, non-judgmental awareness with you into the rest of the day and rest of the week. Those of you who are watching the recording, I'd also invite you to just jot down any thoughts, and you can always email me if there is something you'd like to share with our community. Thank you so much, friends.